District Public Library Ukulele Club. Wood County District Public Library Ukulele Club. Come on along and play your uke with me. It's the Ukulele Club. Welcome to the Wood County District Public Library Ukulele Club. We are on location in front of the fireplace in the atrium today.
Wait, is this on location or is this home? Like, I don't know.
Well, I don't know if we were on location before. We're in the studio now. Got Nick running the camera and the mics and the lights and everything. Making music together. Even when we're physically separated, we can make music together. That's a constructive, positive thing that we can do. And making music together is something that has given people strength and given people courage during difficult times everywhere in the world throughout history. And it makes good times even better. So it's always a good time to learn music, learn something about music, make music together. Whether you're a beginner or not a beginner, whether you even have a ukulele or not,
We know at least two people have ukuleles, right? Because they're checked out.
At least two people have the library's ukuleles, and two more people, maybe more, have our ukuleles borrowed.
Which is cool.
But even if you don't have a ukulele, you can join in, have some fun, sing, dance, tap your toes, tap your furniture, whatever, and possibly learn something. The library's buildings are not open to the public yet, but we have curbside pickup, and we've just expanded our hours for curbside pickup at both library locations. You can find out more on the library's website, wcdpl.org. And we're starting to offer home delivery service today, so you can find out more on the website about that too. For more Ukulele Club stuff, look under the e-media tab on the website, scroll down to library videos, and then scroll down to Ukulele Club, and there will be some extra stuff, some documents, some chord charts and things to look at if you want to, and some additional videos with more information. But I think we should play the theme song one more time.
Oh, yeah, let's do that. 2,
3, 4. Wood County District Public Library Ukulele Club. Wood County District Public Library Ukulele Club. Come on along and play your ukes with me. Big finish, it's the Ukulele Club.
Big finish always means or, because that's fun to do.
Or
Oh, yeah.
a big finish can be subtle also,
Oh, yeah, I forget.
or less subtle.
I forgot.
One of the things I'm going to say right now before I forget is if you do have a ukulele with you, it's probably smaller than these ones. The ukuleles that Sherry and I are both playing are tenor ukuleles. I like a tenor ukulele because it's got a slightly longer neck, more space between the frets. I've got kind of big fingers, so it's a little bit easier for me to play. Sherry, on the other hand, is kind of a hot shot, and hot shots like the tenor ukulele, because again, it has the long neck and a lot of room to do a lot of things with your left hand technique. But most ukuleles, the standard ukuleles, are a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter neck, but they work great. They tend to have a sound a little bit more like this, whereas the tenor has often a bigger, brighter sound, and so soloists like it for that reason too. And I was going to show you one, but we don't have any right now because other people have borrowed our ukuleles, which is great. You were going to talk about string numbers and
Yes.
tuning, and I was gonna check in on the comments just in case.
So one of the things that we like to remind people of is that ukulele and all music is mostly about listening to things. It's not about looking at things. So one of the things that people do wrong a lot, and we don't say wrong very much because you can't do much wrong with the ukulele, but one of the things that people might be doing wrong if your wrist starts to hurt is you might be tipping the ukulele up like this so you can look down at it like that. And the reason that's wrong is that it bends your wrist and it makes it really hard to play. Ouch, and it will hurt you. And the other thing you might be doing wrong is you might have too much tension in your hands. So if your hands and arms start to feel tired, just relax them a little bit. So because you're going to be feeling and not looking, it's nice to have names for things. So I can say, hit string number 2, and you know right where that is, and you don't have to look down at it. So we number the strings from the floor up to your nose, like guitarists do, but because we're ukulelists, we don't have to work as hard as guitarists. We have 2 fewer strings, so that's nice for us. Besides, it's summer, right? So why work hard? So this string, closest to the floor, is string number 1. This string, which is next highest up, is cleverly called string number 2. And the next string, we're going down in pitch, but up in the air, right? Up higher, towards your nose. This string is number 3. And the beautiful thing about the ukulele is this string is number 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. My dog has fleas, right? Which we could talk about later. We'll talk about the fleas and the dog later on, right? Maybe next week.
Yeah.
So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I tuning next, or am I playing something else? What am I doing next?
Well, since we're talking about those 4 strings, one of the nice things about this is that the outside strings end up actually really close together in pitch, which is one of the reasons it's sometimes easier to play fancy stuff than simple stuff on the ukulele.
Yeah.
Tuning? Did you want to talk about
Sure,
tuning
let's
for a
talk
minute?
about tuning. So there are 2 things to think about when you're tuning. One manner of tuning, which is easy enough to do, is to buy yourself a little tuner, and it will say, string number 4, and you pluck it, and then you watch the little needle and you turn the associated peg until you get the right pitch. And that means,
And of course, there's an app for your phone that'll
yeah.
do that too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, look at you and your little app. So we can, Jason can play that pitch and we can match it. Except mine's already matched, so why don't you play that pitch again and I'll mess up my tuning real
Sure.
quick. And then. So I'm going to tune my string and up until it gets to that pitch. Oh, I went too far. Oh no! It's beautiful. And then you can go into a little trance when you get it right. So now I know that this A is concert A, and all over the everywhere, when people say A, my string will be in tune. So you can do that with each of your 4 strings, which I think is what we did before we got on the thing today, right? I don't know. I think so.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. So another thing that you can do if you don't have a pitch around, or you don't care, or you're playing by yourself, is you just want the interval, the distance between the notes on your strings to be right for your ukulele, regardless whether this A is exactly like the A that Jason played on the app. Our goal can just be that all our little strings on our ukulele sound nice together. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to decide to start on string number 3, which is a middle C, in case you care. So I'm going to take this pitch and I'm going to say, this pitch is right. It is in tune, it's a good pitch. And so now I'm going to tune the other strings so they match with that good pitch. And the way I'm going to do this is like this. So each of these little vertical bars on the neck of my ukulele is a fret. And I'm going to put my finger behind each of these frets in succession. So this is my open 3rd string. Here's my 1st fret. Here's my 2nd fret. Here's my 3rd fret. Here's my 4th fret, going up a half step each time. And this one at the 4th fret, when I'm right here on my 3rd string on the 4th fret, it should match my 2nd string open. And it does. Look at these 2 strings. They sound the same. Aren't they pretty?
And also these 2.
I really just feel like you just go into a nice little ukulele trance just doing that. Okay, but if you don't want to go into a nice ukulele trance and you want to keep playing, now you take that second string and count over to the 5th fret. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's going to match your open 1st string.
The nice thing about the 5th fret is most of the time there will be a dot to show you where it is. You don't even have to count if you're looking at the dots.
And I did just adjust mine a little bit. Okay, now I want to tune this guy. So I'm going to go on my 2nd string and go 3 frets up. 1, 2, 3. This is a little bit hard because you have to skip this little C guy in the middle. So I'm going to play my 2nd string on the 3rd fret, and that's going to match my open 4th string. And they already do. I should have messed up my uke more before I did this. But now, if I do all that right, when I just strum my ukulele, it sounds beautiful.
So once your ukulele is tuned, you can do almost anything and it'll sound good. You can put a finger anywhere across the fretboard and it'll sound nice.
And if it doesn't, I just did one that sounded bad to my end. So like if you do this, it's just a different kind of emotional feeling. And if I don't like it, I'll just move my finger a little bit.
This is a general fact about music that you should know and about musical instruments. If you find a bad note or a note that you think is bad at any given moment, it's probably right next to a good note.
Oh,
pretty much deep. They always are.
That's deep.
Yeah. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, the way the ukulele is tuned, it's got these 2 notes on the outside strings that are right beside each other, which may sound good or may sound bad to you depending on the context at any given moment. But one of the things it means is that it's easy to play fancy sort of jazzy chords on the ukulele, sometimes easier than it is to play simple sounding chords. And by chord, I mean anytime you play more than one note together at the same time, the technical musical term is chord with a silent H.
Chord.
Chord.
It's a chord.
So
you learn 2 chords and play a song?
Yeah, as soon as you know 2 chords, you can play a lot of songs.
You can actually play some songs with only 1 chord, but we'll do that some other time. Because you're a sophisticated crowd, you can handle 2 chords.
So here's our favorite kind of F chord. All of the notes on any musical instrument are labeled with letters of the alphabet. Here's an easy F chord. So you find your 1st fret on the 2nd string. Should sound like that if you're tuned up. And now you play all 4 strings together. Oh, isn't that nice?
So pretty.
That's an F add 9 chord in case you're interested, but we'll just call it F for today. If you move that finger over to the 1st string, this is the note, this is the chord, and that's a C7 chord. So once you've got an F chord and a C chord, you can play a song in the key of F.
And if you're getting this sound instead of that sound, it's probably because your finger is touching more than 1 string, and so you want to arch your fingers like little claws like this. Pretend like you're holding something, an egg, like an egg in there that you don't want to drop.
So you're going to teach us a song.
I am. I'm going to teach you the revised words of The People on the Bus. So we're going to start with our F chord. Just do something with your right hand.
You can just do this. Or you could do this. Or you could pluck the strings with claws like this. Always a lot of choices.
Okay, so Jason, you're going to to yell at the chord changes for me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to sing The People on the Bus
F.
with the new
Two.
words.
A 1, 2, 3, F.
The people on the bus go up and down.
C.
Up and down.
F.
Up and down. The people on the bus go up and down.
C.
All through the town. Rosa Parks on the bus sat right in front.
C.
Right in front.
F.
Right in front. Rosa Parks on the bus sat right in front.
C.
All through
F.
the town. Okay, now put your grumpy faces on if you want. The driver on the bus said, move on back.
C.
Move on back.
F.
Move on back. The driver on the bus said, move on back.
C.
All through the town. You can keep your grumpy face on this next verse too, right? The people on the bus said, call the police.
C.
Call the police.
F.
Call the police. The people on the bus said, call the police.
C.
All through
F.
the town. The cuffs on the bus went clink, clink, clink.
C.
Clink, clink, clink. Clink, clink, clink. The cuffs on the bus go clink, clink, clink.
C.
All through
F.
the town. Now the people on the bus sit anywhere they want. Anywhere they want. Anywhere they want. Now the people on the bus sit anywhere they want. All through
Big finish.
the town.
When I'm doing a big finish, one of the things I like to do is find the note that is the main note of the key of the song. So this song is in the key of F. The melody ends on all through the town. The melody ends on that note, town. So I like to find which string am I playing that note on. And it's a little tag at the end of the song.
And if you want to be fancy, you can look for that note up here and slide your ways all through the town. And you can get a little, if you want this trilly noise, you just take your 2 fingers. Some people do this with 3 fingers, I do it with 2. You just start wiggling them back and forth fast, and then I take my left hand and start sliding it up. Oh no. And that's good.
My fingers only move about half that fast. But
It's a good way to drive your cat crazy, by the way. Just get your ukulele, pick a nice high note, and go. Chase them around the house with it. They love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you want to do some playbacks next?
Sure, do we have time?
Yeah.
I would do. Okay. So again, when we're doing the ukulele, we're listening, right? So we're not looking, because if you're doing this, you've got your head down, so you're not smiling at your friend or gazing out the window at the beautiful beach. You're flunked all over like this, and it twists your wrist. So I want your head up in a happy posture when you're playing the uke.
And the uke itself, as much as possible, should be straight up and down,
Yeah.
facing out also, because if the instrument itself is tilted this way, then you won't get your fingers on the strings right, and you'll get a lot of this.
Which is how you play the ukulele in a hammock, right? You can lean down like this. As long as it's flat against your body, you're good.
As long as the instrument is facing the same direction that your face is facing, you're probably in good shape.
Okay, so I want you to listen, and I want you, your left hand can just rest, okay? What I want you to do, I'm going to play an open string, and I want you to find it on your ukulele. Match my pitch and play it back to me. I'm not doing anything with that left hand, nothing fancy at all. But this is good ear training, and if you are in a 2 ukulele household, you can play this game with each other. Okay, so I'm going to pick a string and play it, and Jason's going to try to figure out which string I picked. Here, don't look at me.
I'm not looking.
Don't look at me.
That seems pretty low. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the C string. That's string 3. Third string up from the floor.
3. How about that one?
So if you've done a little ear training before, if you're not a beginner musician, try and figure out what that note probably should be based on the other notes you've been listening to, based on what you know the lowest and highest notes on the instrument are. But if you are a beginner, it's perfectly reasonable to just play all 4 notes and, well, which one matches? It's that one. And eventually, after you've practiced this a little, you'll know it's that one. You won't have to guess the other 3.
Okay, how fast can you go? Ready?
Okay.
We should probably play more songs, right?
Yeah. Okay.
That was a lot of fun.
So we showed you one kind of C chord where you use your first finger on the first fret on the first string, like so. There's another kind of C chord, the more basic kind of C chord from a certain point of view, is to use the 3rd fret on the first string. This is a C. This is a C chord. This is your standard C major chord. So this is a kind of C chord. This is a kind of C chord. It has most of the same notes in it, but 1 extra. This actually is also a kind of C chord if you just play all the open strings. And so one of the things that I mentioned before that you might be noticing now is this is kind of a fancy kind of C chord. It has 4 different notes in it. This is a basic C chord that has 2 of the same note in it, actually. So there's only 3 different notes. So the more complicated one is easier to play on the ukulele. Likewise, the F chord, the easy to play F chord has 4 different notes in it. The standard F chord has 2 fingers. So again, if you've been studying the ukulele for a while, you might know how to play a regular F chord. It's got 2 of the same note in it also. So only 3 different notes, but one of them is repeated. But the simpler to play version actually is more complicated to hear. It's got 4 different notes in it. And then there's also, if you've been studying for a while, you might know a couple of kinds of G chord. They take 3 fingers, most of them. So there's a regular G chord, and here's a G7. But if you're a beginner, there's a 2-finger G chord that you might want to start with instead. 2nd fret on the 1st string and the 2nd fret on the 3rd string. And that's a G6 chord. Again, it's kind of a nice... Yeah, it's the first chord in our theme song. So this next song that Sherry's going to show us, it has some C's in it. If you know a regular C, you can play a regular C. It has some F's. If you want to play a regular F, that's fine. It has some G's. If you want to play a regular G, you can. Or you can play the fancy C that's easy to play with no frets, the fancy F that only takes 1 finger, and the fancy G that only takes 2 fingers. Options. It's always good to have options.
And if you're like, yeah, teach me something new, because you've done this before, I invite you to play this C chord, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th fret on the 1st string, 3rd fret on the 2nd string. That's a nice C chord. And then you can slide your pinky over one and get the same F with the pinky up here on the 100th fret, 7th fret. So, or you can just keep it up at the top of the neck, whichever you like. Okay. So also, if you're not playing the ukulele now, it's time to dance and sing. There's a slow half of the song and a fast half of the song, and Jason will call the chords, right?
Also, one more option that you always have, even if you do have a ukulele, is to play Z, which is the chord that doesn't have A, B, C, D, E, F, or G in it. You just do that by laying your left hand gently across the strings. The ukulele makes a great drum. Alrighty. So I think Sherry's going to play the fancy.
I might not actually.
Sherry's going to play the advanced chords. I'm going to play the easy chords.
Who knows what chords I'm going to play?
Or,
I'll be singing,
who knows?
so I don't know. Here we go. So quiet. It's so quiet when the sun goes down.
G,
So quiet
C.
in the sleepy little town. There really isn't anybody
F.
much around.
G,
So quiet
C.
when the sun goes down. You ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. But it gets a little crazy when the moon comes out. People come from everywhere to whirl around and shout. There's all kinds of everybody all about. Gets a little crazy when the moon comes out. But it's so quiet when the sun goes down. So quiet in the sleepy little town. There really isn't anybody much around. So quiet when the sun goes down. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. But it gets a little crazy when the moon comes out. People come from everywhere to whirl around and shout. There's all kinds of everybody all about. Gets a little crazy when the moon comes out. Should we refrain one more time?
yeah. C,
So quiet
F.
when the sun goes down.
G,
So quiet
C.
in the sleepy little town. There really isn't anybody much around. So quiet when the sun goes down. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And it gets a little crazy when the moon comes out. People come from everywhere to whirl around and shout. All kinds of everybody all about. Gets a little crazy when the moon comes out. Finish. I like that song.
So, yes?
Is it rappy uppy time?
It's rappy uppy time, more or less. If you have any questions, you can always add them to the comments on the live stream during the live stream, which will be over in a couple minutes. But if we do get any questions in the next couple minutes, we can answer them on the live stream. Also, more information about Ukulele Club and all kinds of other stuff on the library website. I put links in the comments on this stream. There will be an archived video of this live stream available shortly as well. And let's see, if you have any other questions after the fact, you can always contact us through our band website, which I also put in the comments. I'm pointing this way because my laptop is over here.
That's where the comments are. The comments
Off
are.
camera.
Okay.
In the technical area.
Oh, I see.
You can always contact us through our band website, grubsmusic.com, and we'll be back here next Monday, live streaming, perhaps from another part of the library.
Do we get
Who
to
knows?
like go every different place in the library every week, like
As long as
executive offices,
Oh, I don't know.
ladies' restroom?
We just got a thumbs up from the director, so
Nice. Because there's a really good song about seven.
about the
ladies.
executive offices, maybe not the restroom.
Because there's a really good song about 7 old ladies got stuck in the lavatory, and that's only got 3 chords. And we
Wow.
could play that in the lavatory. Wouldn't that be fun?
Maybe. Okay. Time for the theme song.
Okay.
And the theme song contains, if you've been with us before, you might be familiar with these. A G6, which is was in the previous song. Yeah, the easy G chord, 2nd fret on the 1st and 3rd strings. And if you just move that over to the 2nd and 4th strings instead, you get a D7 chord. So there's a G6, there's a D7, and there's the C7 you may remember from half an hour ago. Those are the 3 chords in our theme song, in case you were not aware before. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Wood County District Public Library. See you next time.
Thanks, everybody.